Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check. Waifu, waifu. Telliano. Is that you?
296, we here.
This is episode 296 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. The After Story 80 is now up and live, and it covers our what, why, and where, I guess, the gaming podcast is taking place and how. Yeah, there it is. So check that out. Very long episode of the After Story, breaking it down from like how we're going to do segments, how that podcast is going to work. All that stuff is there. Check out the After Story 80. It's really, really good. The pre-show to this episode is up there. Obviously, it's up there 2 days before this episode goes live for everybody. Check out patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much to the Patreon producers. Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast. Shout out to you. Fear, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture. Explicitly, all for one, Matt, Monique Williams, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last, but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. Anyway. This is episode 296 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu, the anime podcast that bring you seasonal topics and discussions every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. We got a lot to discuss. The rest of the spring season is fully out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about possibly an antagonist. I got a lot to say today about a specific something. So I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. It may be two specific somethings, but let's not waste no time. Tell, what was your episode of the week this week?
It wasn't even really hard, but I almost don't want to pick it, but I'm gonna go with it. It's To Be Hero X.
Great choice. So obviously, Windbreaker could be episode of the week every week, and we talk about this all the time, where we could be like, you know, the returning shows. We don't like to give episodes a week. We like to give something new the time to shine. To Be Hero X definitely deserves that from you, and for me too, to be fair. But because you chose that, I'm going to choose something else this time. And what I'm going to choose this time is, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to choose it. I'm going to go ahead and go with, I think I chose it last week too, which kind of sucks. But Kowloon, man, I'm really liking where that's going. So far so good. Really, really good show. Yeah. I'm looking forward to more of that.
Yeah, they have it's, and like I said, I obviously if you read the header there, but it has such a nice, I'm gonna say, flair to it. Mm-hmm. How things are unraveling.
Yeah, I
do enjoy that.
And the art style is beautiful. Characters very likable so far. Very curious as to see what this is, where this story is leading to.
What was the Discord episode of the week? What's that looking like?
Discord episode of the week. What a great question. Discord episode of the week would be,
because I think I know what it is, but I think I'm wrong. No, I think I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
I think it's what your antagonist is going to be about.
Just
the beginning after the end.
I think you might be right. Yeah, because it wasn't that much on the Witch Watch one that they were talking about.
No, to be fair though, I will say this, and not to, because I personally don't have a problem with it.
No, let me stop you right there. Let me just go into this because it's just pissing me off. So Tell, you are somebody who I am relatively close with and who I understand very, very well. Okay. The problem with the beginning after the end is I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, it's maybe because I'm reading it and I read it and I saw what's coming up next. Okay. That I'm so upset about what the animation looks like right now. I sent you a message on TikTok about the petition that's being signed going around about how terrible this looking and people trying to get it canceled so they can get it redone by a different studio. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And you're like, is it really that bad? And that pissed me off, Tell. That broke my heart. And the reason why I broke my heart, Tell, is because I looked at it again. I'm like, no fucking way. Tell looked at this show and said, this ain't that bad. You know what it is? It's the art style that is very bold and it pops and it's beautiful. It looks good, the art style wise, animation wise. Go to episode 2, 9 minutes in. There's no fucking way. This is worse than Blue Lock. I looked it up. Or it's about worse or the same as Blue Lock. I looked it up. I compared the two. It's terrible. Now, I saw an interview with Turtle Me. Turtle Me is an Asian American. But an interview with Crunchyroll people, he said I had the opportunity to go with any studio, Montel Williams, that Crunchyroll has worked with in the past. You know how many studios that is, Tell? Do you know how many studios that? All of them.
Hundreds.
All of them. So that means, just check out this list. Toei Animation, Madhouse, DMM. DMM isn't that. Bandai Namco. Fucking A1 Pictures, Ufotable. But okay, let's say you don't want to go with A1 Pictures, Madhouse, those top tier studios for T-Bay, which you should. Okay, which you should. Mm-hmm. Why would you go with
White Fox?
Why would you go with ACAT of all places? ACAT is so terrible. Now, mind you, this is what I did again. I looked up different studios that Crunchyroll has worked closely with in the past. I brought up their list of shows that they've done. I picked up the most terrible shows that they had, okay? The Berserk of Gluttony. Now, that wasn't a bad show to us by any stretch of the imagination, right? Berserk of Gluttony wasn't a bad show to us. I just looked at the animation because, the studio isn't well known, right?
Right.
So I just looked it up, looked up an episode of fighting, went to a random time frame, and shit actually moved. The problem I have with this one is it literally is just pictures flashing on the fucking screen. And then what the problem why you and probably some other people don't think is that bad is they put some fucking particle effects over people's hands and people thinks that it looks good or it's decent or it's not that bad. No, it's terrible. The running animation looked like 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix. Okay, that shit was awful. The fucking Jasmine, she is such a fucking demon with the blades, and all we get is her doing this in the picture. You can't see it in the video version, but she throws her arm back with the 2 daggers and she cuts through. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the biggest fight of it all, when you fighting the bandits, they're not fucking fighting the bandits, Till. They're not fighting the bandits. They're just standing there and it's flashing to another picture, flashing to another picture, flashing to another picture. And I'm not, okay. Let me take a step back, okay? Let me relax because I am not an animation whore, okay? I'm not. You don't have to be Ufotable. You don't have to be Madhouse. You don't have to be A1 Pictures, okay? I understand that completely and I believe in that wholeheartedly as long as the story is good. However, T-Bait is predicated on what's up and coming or what's about to happen or what does happen within this story, the fights, okay? Now, for example, somebody on TikTok, and I wish I would have sent this to you next, somebody on TikTok decided to animate Biru versus Sun Jin Woo the same way they did T-Bait, and they said it was the hardest thing they ever had to do to make it look like that, and it looked the exact fucking same, Tell. It was so bad. So imagine if somebody animated those 2 fights just like that. Would you be happy with that? No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, of course not. And hear me out. When I say that it's not that bad, I only say it's not that bad in regard to the fact that when I watched this after that first episode, and I said this when I saw the animation was not good. Even for that first episode, which would have been the episode that you would assume they have a hook on, right? I only say it's not that bad because I'm expecting a larger story. I'm expecting a larger plot. I don't think this animation is good by any sense of the word. It has an art style. I get that.
Beautiful.
I'm not saying the art style is what is selling the animation. It's animation and then the art style. These things are supposed to go together, and the animation is what is supposed to be what the art style is predicated on. It's like you have to have a decent art style and a good animation, or else the art style is not truly shining. So I'm not saying I don't think it's that bad in that regard. The animation is trash-tastic. I ain't gonna hold you. It is not by any sense of the word good, but they have that bold. They do well with the
very vibrant
high contrast from dark to super light, or super light to super duper dark. But that doesn't sell it, and I agree with you. Like, even with the very last scene, it was really just a screenshot that zoomed out.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I get it. I ain't even lying. I'm not even mad at you, but I knew this is gonna be it, because it wasn't good. You can't even lie and say it is good. But for me, like I said, I'm thinking I'm not here necessarily for the action, even though I know this is gonna be action oriented at some point.
Yeah.
Even when they do like the little flashbacks thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. None of it is like truly in motion, and it makes me think about like Shoshimin. Mm-hmm. How Shoshimin is so beautiful and everything is always in motion in this anime that's not like highly talked about or referenced often.
That's comparing apples to grapes, because of the simple fact is there's no movement in that whatsoever, but everything does move. You know what I'm saying? So because there's virtually no movement, it's a lot easier for them to move.
It's not action oriented.
Exactly.
But it's just the fact that I get it, bro. ACAT could definitely work a lot harder at this, and they not.
There's so many scenes that would have people losing their fucking minds when it comes to that point.
Already in 2 episodes?
No. Well, yeah, the bandit fight should have been one of them, but it was just shit just flashing on the screen like the dude doing his earth magic thing. It was just him. It would just cut to a scene, and it would do the pan zoom where it would zoom out, and it would be no animation to it whatsoever.
And the worst part is that's the easiest effect to do in a video editor, just pan zoom.
It's the easiest fucking thing. They drew a bunch of pictures and they pan zoomed it out a bunch. So there's there's so many upcoming moments where it would be like oh shit, he did looked you would think while you're reading it would look incredible. But it's just now when you think about it, it's not going to have that. And because it's not going to have that, people are upset, rightfully so. This is the only time in my career, of this anime podcasting space where I am so behind the community with the upset. No, obviously no crazy threats to anybody. Nobody deserves that. I'm not saying go that far, but I'm saying, yes, let your voices be heard, because they will hear it, right? They will hear the fact that this shouldn't be acceptable for a series.
Exactly what I was thinking.
This big, this massive, like this beloved, because it is definitely beloved, and I get why. But again, the story is going to be there. The story is going to be great. The depth in the world is going to be great. The world building is going to be fantastic. I think that's T-Bait's mainstay is the world building, the power systems, and the characters. However, and
personally, that's what I'm loving so far.
Exactly. But
I 100% see why the animation is less than dog water. Like I would not let my dog drink that.
You won't. If they can't convey the emotion behind what the combat is, you won't feel what you feel when you're reading it. So I'm gonna suggest
you will start to lose it. Yeah,
you're gonna start to lose it. Yeah, I suggest that people read it after this series this season is up. Like just fucking pick it up and read it. And I don't ever do that, right? Like I'll just wait for the rest. No, just read it. For some reason, when I looked it up, I think the first like 10 or so chapters of the way comic looks rough. The art style isn't the best, but it gets better from there. Art style wise, but your mind can imagine the moves that's being put on, and they literally just took pages, scanned it in, and then flashed them on a screen with weird After Effects on it, and it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And I waited, and I even said this in the Discord. I'm like, something about this just, I don't want to watch it. And I know it's a personal thing with me personally because of the simple fact. What did I say exactly? Let me scroll. Yeah, it was definitely T-Bait. That was the episode of the week for Discord too, by the way.
And it's an infamous episode of the week because all those comments was not good.
Yeah, I said I still have this personal issue where after I read something, I don't care for watching it. I'm definitely going to watch it, but I'm just not pressed or even feel like at the moment that it's going to be. I think this is going to be one where I have to force myself to watch. And this was before I watched the episode, so I'm like, I watched it today, I think. So it's like I waited until the last possible minute to turn it on because I wasn't. And it's only because when I read something, I'm not interested in watching it. And that's just a personal thing with me, but I digress. I was like, come on, how can you do Jasmine like that? She's fucking incredible. Like, she's incredible, but you get to see none of that. Like it, and then when he shows her his move, he didn't show her anything. You didn't see, so frustrating. But yeah, let me get out of here before
you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong in the slightest. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Dude, then they put them particle effects in.
Hey, I ain't even, when you hit the button and the music just kicked on, I ain't even realize at first. I was like, hold up, he going right into it just like that. I knew you was gonna start talking, but I didn't know it was gonna be right there. That's hilarious.
Let's go with let's talk about your sleeper. First off, I want to just make this clear to everybody. Tell Sleeper is Moonrise. It all dropped on Netflix. So the way we're attacking it, before we get into the conversation about it, is we're attacking it by doing 2 episodes a week, even though we accidentally did 3. It's long story short. What we're going to do is we watched 3 this week. We're going to watch 1 next week, and then we're going to watch 2 from here on after. So we watched 3 episodes of Moonrise on Netflix. It's Tell Sleeper. So Tell, first, what did you think of Moonrise? The first 3 episodes.
Highly predictable. I don't think it takes away from the fact that it could be a good story. I see this aspect, and what was it? It was one that I watched a few seasons ago that tackled a similar story, but it was just very poor. And it wasn't because of the woman lead. It was just like all of the characters were not good. It just had a bunch of. It was not Licorice Recoil. It was Rouge Red or something like that. Do you remember?
Metal Rouge Red or some shit like that.
Yeah, Metal Rouge Red. That's what it was. It tackled a similar aspect, but more like robotics based and whatnot. This is more of like a uprising. The moon versus Earth, and showing the civilization, one civilization that's based off another one, fighting back because they feel like they're being mistreated and whatnot.
Oppressed, yeah.
It's a very Full Metal Alchemist kind of plot. I feel like you can see immediately where this story is gonna go. Everything is super predictable, but I love the way it looks. I even love the way it's being paced right now. But do I think that it is necessarily groundbreaking? It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
what you think, Polow?
This one's fantastic to me. I think it has already, the 3 episodes I watched, so much more depth than other anime originals that we're going to get to a little bit later. But so much more depth and delivery that it just feels so much better to watch than the other one we're going to talk about here soon. But it honestly, I'm enjoying this probably more than you are. I love the aesthetic of it. I love how space epic it feels. It feels very Star Wars-esque in its sound delivery and its like theme delivery and just essentially it's wit. I'm not never gonna be disappointed with a wit animation. They're fucking popping off. It looks so good. As far as your saying of predictability, I don't see it because it's not much they established here yet.
Yeah,
it's not much there. So I can't predict it if it's not much they're telling me yet. And rightfully so in these first three, right? Obviously, what you said about the uprising, these first three episodes were literally, again, the synopsis of the show. Not much of it added to that yet. However, it does seem like it's about to be, a brotherly spat, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's about the only thing that I can predict so far. But everything else, I didn't expect the fucking moon elevator to fall apart, kind of like Foundation, if anybody's familiar with that Apple TV show. That shit was crazy. That blew my mind. And it just looks great.
That did happen. It happened. So, and when I say this, what I said is not to say that I'm not enjoying it. That's why I said I can see a good story unfolding here. Because, I always say this, and it could be because I never had any real brothers growing up. So the brothers I made always feel super important to me. To me, I love stories like this where it's focusing on, that kind of thing. And that's kind of why also the slice of life, especially when the wife dies, that's like a biggest fear of mine. It always gets me. So this is another story template that for me is always gonna hit. But I just want the story to be good, and I wanna kind of be on my toes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanna feel like I don't know what's gonna happen next, and it could very well take that turn in the next few episodes. But right now I feel like it's pretty straightforward. But do I love what it looks like and what's happening, and even the conversations going on? I love the sound design of it. There's so much of it to really, really enjoy. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying, to me, it felt a little predictable in the first few episodes.
Yeah, the thing with it,
and I'm only saying predictable because it's like that was obvious in the first episode. Now you kind of showing more in like the third episode. Sure. You know what I mean? It was just like,
yeah, but
it was already there.
It's so crazy how I had this preconceived notion with anime originals, because there's not many, and out of the what Annie calls 840 something shows that I've watched, there's not many anime originals. This is a fully anime original, and this has been delivery wise fantastic. So the excuse I use for anime originals have something wrong with their delivery is null and void with just this one alone, because this delivery is great. These characters are much more interesting than anything that I'm getting in Lazarus. Like, this is been leagues above Lazarus so far.
Is that what you're about to talk about next?
Yeah, I was going to go to my sleeper next, but then this is just a perfect segue into Lazarus. The second episode dropped. Shout out to our Patreon producer, Rob Stone. He says, you've got me a little worried about Lazarus now, though. Yeah, everybody should be. Our guy, Fear, another Patreon producer, mentioned something that I thought was perfect. And he said, I need to rewatch the final third, but it was just whatever. I did find myself laughing during the shootout, which there was a shootout where they were trying to like have some lighthearted moments in it, but the guy Axel's fucking stinks, man. This is like, let me just give you I wish I had remember this line for line, but he said, "This charm here is my good luck charm. I never get hurt with it," or some shit like that. Very close to that. That was what he said. And then he runs out in the middle of a gunfight, flipping and dodging and shooting bullets. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? What are we fucking watching? What are we doing? These characters are so uninteresting, so disappointing. Again, very nice art show though. Everything else fucking stinks. Let
me tell you exactly what I was thinking when I was watching Lazarus, bro. And this is funny as hell. This is funny as hell. I'm watching Lazarus, and like in the first, I'm gonna say 2/3 of it, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What's going on here? And it's just going. And then they start moving. The action scenes, the flipping and dodging, jumping, cars moving, stuff like that. And I'm not even gonna say it's fire. What it really is, because it's not like it's necessarily super special. There are other anime that can do this. It's more about the motion, how that part carries the trajectory of the show, like how the characters actually move throughout the screen.
They got inertia.
The world. Yeah, it has motion to it, and that part moves and carries so well But then the rest of the show is like, what is going on here? And it's not like when I say what is going on here, it's not like I don't understand what's happening. Right. I understand. I see it. I get it. A
very simple premise.
It's so dull. Yeah. It's so dull.
I think,
man, I don't want to shit on Lazarus. I don't want to sit here and feel like I'm bashing this show over the head.
I am,
but Lazarus is supposed to be something that revives, and it ain't revived shit in me, bro. This show is not doing nothing for me other than the little bit of motion scenes. And I'm gonna be real, I could live without that if the story is going to be garbaggio.
I'm ready to Audible for our end of the season review. To be honest, like, because it's gonna be a bad review. But to force myself to watch it, I mean, maybe we should watch it 3 episodes first to see. But I would not mind audibling into anything else. I mean, it could be any fucking thing else to watch. How many
episodes To Be Hero X gonna be?
We don't know.
We don't know, do we? Yeah, I mean, shoot.
It is a Chinese. My wife told me what they call it, Doshin, I think. Mm-hmm. So they normally have a few episodes, but with this art style, I don't expect it to be no more than like 12, 13.
Yeah.
But that's much more of an interesting watch, man. It's To Be Hero. Last week I didn't watch Hero X at the time. This week I did. Let me just get my thoughts out. Fucking show is fantastic. These first 2 episodes were brilliant. Art style is lovely. Characters are fantastic. That is one show that I'm looking forward to the most every single week. Now, at first it was unironically the Atelier Meister, because it was just so sweet. But now To Be Hero X, I'm like ready to. Every time I see that, when I see that pop up, I'm ready to go because it's just that good.
That's wild. And I'm not saying it's wild because you think that, but it's wild because, like I said, when I watched the first episode, I wasn't expecting that. Mm-hmm, and going into this episode, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I know what I saw, but I still almost shed a thug tear. I was like just welled up because what they do so well is the same thing I said about Lazarus's motion. The motion is coordinated so well, but they also give you this whole like
it's what we call weight tale.
Story breakdown, bro.
It's what we call
story
weight.
And what's happening. It just felt so. It felt heavy. It felt believable with the and slight spoiler with the nemesis and stuff like that. It felt believable. Yep. I'm like, oh, this is hitting different. Yeah, and I'm just so very surprised.
It's just so good. It's just so good. Like there is. Yeah, this is fantastic. It's just fantastic. Yeah, definitely one of the better shows this season. Probably the best show this season. New show, that is. Yeah, so
your sleeper.
To go to my sleeper, which is Summer Pockets. The next episode 2 is airing by the time you're hearing this, so make sure you watch that. But let me just tell you, Tel, I love it, man. I love it so much because what it does is it was such a nice introduction into where we are. And then there's this main character who seems to have it virtually together, right? Normally you have some kind of bumbling fool when it comes to main characters and slice of lives. Not this guy. He's about it. And I'm very curious as to see how these different personalities that we naturally interacted with throughout the episode 1 come together or come apart or whatever the story is behind this show. I love them all so far. I think they're all absolutely adorable, and I don't know who I'm rooting for yet. I don't even know what this is yet. So
right, because I'm ready for this to feel a little bit melancholy. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's very easy for a show like this to have cute characters when the artwork is this damn good, bro.
Shout out to Key.
I do feel like this art is phenomenal. And obviously it's the first episode, so they trying to cook. They want to make sure they get that hook in you. It looks really good. And like you said, the way we meet the characters, it feels so organic. I was a little irritated by like the older aunt, she said, well, I would have went out and got this. And I'm not irritated by it. What I'm irritated by is like, yo, how irresponsible can you be? But I feel like that's just part of her character. Yeah. And I'm not saying irresponsible. It's more like you knew this was on the fly. You knew, well, I would have cooked something for you. And I was like, okay, so this is the kind of character this is going to be. These characters, I love the quirks they already have. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm thinking about the she's sleeping underneath the tree, look up. Oh my God, it's already 2:00. How did she know? Well, she probably sleeps there a lot. Yeah. You know, she be chilling. But this show does have a very soft feel to it, but I do feel this like impending melancholy kind of feeling coming on, and that might, and I'm not saying that's even what it's going to be, but I feel like that might even be a driving factor to what we could get with this kind of slice of life. I'm actually very excited about it, and
the original creator is Kai. The original creator is Kai, who did Clint After Story. So that alone tells you where we're probably going to be here.
I'm quitting this shit now. I'm done.
Yeah. So, and it's done by Studio Field. No wonder why it looks so great, because Studio Field did remake Our Life.
Yeah.
We are in for a treat. This is going to be a great show.
They cooking, bro.
Again, we know nothing about anybody yet, but it just felt so natural the way we met some people, that this is how you introduce characters. You don't have to be so can a boy girl relationship survive like the blue hair chick, just constantly mention we're best friends. You can just naturally let shit happen and let shit build, bro. It was just such a great episode. It was almost my episode of the week this week. Then I had to give it to Kowloon because that episode was just had a little bit of bigger impact. It sucked that it's Monday, because Monday is so long. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Within the week of when we're recording this, and that's the edit day. So I'm like, I watch anime and then I edit and then I post everything, and it's and then it's gonna get even more busy on Mondays now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it the most. Let's see here. Anything new else? Apocalypse Hotel. Did you watch that?
I did not watch that one.
Let me tell you about this. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely would. It's gorgeous. It's very, very pretty show. Side Games Pictures, the mobile game studio did the animation here. Okay, no wonder why I look like it got money. So the first episode is interesting to me because it's very, it's like it gives you the breakdown of what's going on. Earth is ravaged by some sort of a disease, but it also has this happy commercial built into it about the hotel. Okay. And then it flashes into what's going on in the world. And then the hotel commercial comes back in with a little bit more piece of the hotel. And a good commercial. It's very interesting way they intertwine the story and the lore of the world. And then it starts at this hotel in the apocalypse of this little girl going to get some water. She go get some water. She gets the water. She throws it on the doorman, who overheats because he's constantly opening the door with no real maintenance to his body. Very interesting stuff. Now, this hotel is the only hotel that's upkept in this apocalypse. Like, it's the only thing upkept because it's ran by automatons, which then some stuff happens and you kind of learn a little bit more about the stuff. But essentially, these automatons are waiting until their mission is to upkeep this hotel until humans return back to Earth, because apparently some of them went underwater or to the moon or something like that. Now, what's cool about it is it gives me like sort of a Nier Automata prequel vibe.
I did see you say that.
So where it's like, because for those of you that don't know, Nier Automata is one of my favorite games of all times. But it's like that lore is Earth is taken over by robots, and all the humans moved up to the moon, and they basically send down these automatons, and they fight back to try to get Earth back. Essentially, that's kind of what it felt like. But it's these automatons already down there trying to make sure this hotel is upkept for when the humans return. Something happens in it, and you're like, oh shit, where you kind of like, what? Where is this going? So I think I'm gonna give it the 3-episode rule. It's not particularly standoutish yet, but I am definitely going to give it a 3-episode rule within this seasons so far. Definitely worth the watch, I think.
Is there anything else new that you watched? I'm asking before I just rapid fire the ones I watched.
Nothing new in particular, other than I do got to give a special shout out before you get into your rap. It's not really a shout out. It's more of a, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
And what?
And one of our community members, a long-time community member of ours, was also podcasting cohort, Anime West Studio, very good guy, Vash, who let us know that he used to catch up on ReZero.
I got screenshots. Bro, what's going on with that?
What's going on with that, man?
I mean, did you just not watch season 2? You're not on season 3? Where you at, bro?
Yeah, that's the detail I need. How are you behind on ReZero? One of the greatest anime of all time, the greatest anime of all time. I don't get it. And then he also said him and his co-host of his show is thinking about dropping one of the better shows this season, The Two Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom.
Yeah. That also.
What? This is like second or third on like new shows that are top tier this season. How dare you?
Easily.
I'm judging.
Easily. It's the easiest watch. You just turn it on. And it's that good already.
Tell me, spin.
Are you serious? Like only reason I say I understand ReZero is because there's a lot to digest.
Yes.
You better turn it on and digest it though.
You better swallow that shit.
You better swallow that pill, my guy. If we gotta do it, you gotta do it too.
Mm-hmm. It's the goat.
It's worth it too. It's so rewarding, and I'm gonna tell you, why not reward yourself? You deserve better. Love yourself.
Yeah,
you deserve that.
If you enjoying the underwear outside the air meister like we are, but you're not enjoying the Two Perfect Saint, you reevaluate.
If I check in with you next week and you haven't watched it, you get an Antagonist button.
Straight up.
Just to give you a heads up. I ain't gonna lie to you. It can all be me. Polo ain't gotta say nothing.
I'm weird.
I'm just gonna let you know.
It's about 3 minutes and 15 seconds of Antagonist that I kind of the goal of Antagonist is to not surpass that time, but I did with
I don't mind being a villain for that. For ReZero, I'll be a villain every time.
Big time. All right, what's your rapid fire shows that you watch?
All right, My Hero Academia Vigilantes already gives me a better feel than My Hero. Not the beginning of My Hero, but where My Hero kind of ended off at. It has it's a different art style where it's the bolder lines, so to speak, but the heroes are working more in the shadows. They're not supposed to be heroes. They don't have licenses. And they're not as strong as All Might or Deku. So the storyline is going to be almost entirely different in this. But I think you see a villain from the movie almost immediately. But first episode is actually pretty solid. Knuckle Duster is better than Batman. Next.
When I tell you, hold on, before you continue, sorry. Let me just rebuttal. When I tell you I couldn't give a fuck less about My Hero anything, I just don't care.
No, I understand entirely. I almost didn't watch either. The Shiunji Family Children. Did you watch that one at all? No. Mm-mm. So the Shiunji Family Children is about children, 7 kids who are all adopted and raised as siblings, and now they find out they're not siblings, and some of the sisters have a crush. There's 5 sisters and 2 boys, and they kind of have a crush. Well, we know one has a crush on the boy that she thought was her sibling, but now that she knows he's not his sibling, she's like okay with the crush. I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch this all the way through.
What's it called?
Shiunji Family Children. Shiunja Family Children. No, it's Shiunji. The SHIUNJI Family Children. But it looks beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is absolutely gorgeous. Who is animating this?
Done by Dango Kobo.
Yeah. But I love the way these characters look.
Yeah, no wonder why, because they did Oshinoko.
Yeah, they cook it too. Yeah. But I'm interested to see where it goes. I hope it doesn't get like, because they're not siblings, but I just hope it doesn't get funky, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them calling each other bro and sis and getting
weird,
physical. Yeah. you better go ahead and let that go or choose a side. But I do plan on watching that one. Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuuux. Okay. I do like the way it looks, but I need more. So obviously 3-episode rule. Polow, you gonna hate it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Of course.
It's not a Polow ass anime.
Oh, I forgot another show I watched too. Yeah.
What else did I watch?
I am going to just want to for those of you listening, I am going to continue to watch I'm the Evil Lord of the Intergalactic Empire. Mm-hmm. I did watch the first 3 episodes of that. It's actually fire. Okay, it's actually fire. Even though it seems to have some mechs in it. Hopefully it doesn't revolve around it, but I at this point I don't think it matters that much to me because I'm liking where this is going so far for sure.
Yes. Let's go, bro.
And then Haren-San season 2.
Oh, which one is that one? Haren-San?
Yeah, that's a slice of life joint. With the 2 awkward schoolmates and they dated in season 1.
I remember you.
Yeah, it's fire. It's so far so good.
And then the last one for me is Go Loser Ranger. I actually think I like this show. I know it's not necessarily his Polow cup of tea, but I do really like this show. Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't see it necessarily improving in a way that Polow would pick it back up yet. But I will keep you updated on what's going on. But it's a pretty solid first episode, just a reintroduction. Not all characters were reintroduced, but it kind of places our ranger in a squad, and then we move on from there. But yeah, that's the new stuff I think I picked up this week. I think I got one more that comes out next week, and that's it.
Okay, dope. All right. So what are we spoiling this week?
Man,
let's bring Shoshimin back because there's something I want to say about that. Shout out to Shonen Bump. Shonen Bump dropped a fucking bar in our Discord that I think is very pertinent to what Shoshimin is. So that's there. Fire Force. Let's bring Fire Force in too. And then what else? Windbreaker's dope, but it ain't have much we can really spoil.
Yeah, it wasn't spoiler much.
How about can this boy relationship survive? Boy girl relationship friendship survive?
That's what you want to do?
Kind of. What do you want to do?
No, let's do it. Can this boy girl relationship survive?
Okay, yeah, because I got some stuff to say about that too. All right, let's get to know my check waifu. This is part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator. The other reads the question associated with that number. It's my turn to read the question. It's your turn to roll a random number generator.
All right. Random number generator. The number I have is 67.
Oh shit. 60. Okay, can you just read me the 67? Because I don't have it.
Okay, so I got.
What's 67?
Number 67 is, what is your favorite shounen anime?
I hate that question.
Answer it. Answer it now. What is your favorite shonen anime?
It's such a broad.
Pick something that isn't immediately, because like wouldn't ReZero be listed as shonen?
Exactly.
Let's not go there. Let's go with something a little bit more
typical, atypical, be usual.
Not even atypical, be usual. Something that's like out of the ordinary. Let's not go directly that. Let me see. Can I just choose shonen? Okay. Yeah, because the top 10 shonen, none of them are even on my list. Top 15, no. Top 20, no. Top 25, no. But one of them was on my list. So we can go with something like, I feel like Fire Force would be extremely easy for us to say.
Yeah.
But, and I feel like I give Noragami too much love as it is.
I'm honestly, out of the atypical be usual, it's between two, and it's between Fire Force or Hell's Paradise. And I think I'm going to go with Fire Force. Because the depth within Fire Force in this world and this character building is fantastic.
I think that's an amazing answer. Goodness gracious. I'm going to go with... Not that one. I'm going to go with... I guess I'll just say, because you took the one I was going to choose, but I didn't go with that. I guess I will go with Shiver of a Fell Night.
Could have windbreaker.
I could have.
JJK.
No, I'm not going with JJK.
Nah, I know.
I think JJK has some shortcomings later to the end.
Me too.
And that's been Get to Know Mike Check Waifu.
We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 296 of Mike Check Waifu. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, follow our Twitch, and join the Discord. Discord.mikecheckwaifuwaifu.com. The best place to conversate with our community and us, ask questions, drop your thoughts, share theories, all in the Mike Check Waifu Discord, especially in the forums. It's great over there. It's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to start off with Fire Force spoilers. Episode 2. Now, after my rant about how I felt about, the logic not being there, it's still not there, right? Like, it still should be hands thrown. Burns isn't fucking, he's not even mind controlled. We find out he just fell into quote unquote belief, which again, I'm a believe in their writing and believe that's for a reasons. outside of the parts that I think that I deemed illogical at the start of Fire Force, I found this episode way better.
Yes. This episode set a different precedent in terms of like even getting to the point specifically where like we see Benny Maru, we see Hibana, and we see them like Hibana. I feel like she's not gonna switch sides. She's got to demonstrate a front of like switching sides,
of course.
But I don't see Hibana switching sides. I don't see Benny switching sides. I see Benny rocking with the 8th, and just keeping everybody else on the sidelines. And then right after that, we slide and we see Joker. And Joker showing his duality, so to speak, where he's not really the villain, and we saw that obviously in the previous season. He's not really the villain, but because of his position in the world, he's considered an outlaw, which I guess is technically my favorite kind of outlaw for good. But I do like how they kind of present this scenario, and even how Benny Maru says it, where everyone's just enemies in the crossfire. And I think that's literally what he said. And to see that in this point of view, which like episode 1, we got that perspective anyway. It feels like that he's gonna be on Squad 8 regardless.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
gonna be on them.
That's what the part that bothered me is because they're so good at writing. They could have wrote that switch so much better. That it just felt like it
could have been more demonstration. Yeah,
it kind of was just thrown at us in order to have this particular case be what this season is, right? Where 8 is the enemy of the state, essentially. And I get it, that's fine, but it was just done so poorly and disappointingly, especially after coming off of watching season 1 and season 2 back to back like that, where they just demonstrated all piece of this world building and lore and people so well that it's tough to see something like this just fall through the cracks, like the army just immediately working with the White Clad again after they destroy 20 something of Squad 2's people and kill so many innocent people and turning people like Burns is okay with turning Captain Obi into a Inferno. Like this, it just don't, none of that shit.
But
feels right.
Then, I don't think Burns is okay with it. I think he's doing it because that's maybe. I think, and you know what I hate to say, and I hate to say this as like a foil kind of thing. It's almost like I could see Burns being like, I can't necessarily fight this the way I want to, so I got to go along with it. But even then, like you said, normally their writing is so good that I would hate to see that. I would hate to see Burns just going along with the story.
To be the man inside, quote unquote.
And that could be done well.
Who's going to beat the Fire Force with all of them together?
Right, with the position of the story so far, that would be such a hard thing to pull off. Where
they got Benny Maru and Burns, like that alone, they're taking out every fucking body. Like, come on, like why? What are we doing here? Make that make sense.
Almost, but I don't know, man.
Who is beating Benny Maru on the church's side, or on the not church side, the evangelist side?
Show?
No.
That's wild. Because Benny Maru don't have an Adola link. He is not working Show, bro.
He's working Show because I mean maybe, but you got Shinra for that.
You got Shinra for that. I don't know. And there's nobody really touching Benny Maru. There's
or
nobody.
Burns, for that matter. Like if the Fire Forces come together, Hibana, Burns, and everybody in between, like there's nothing stopping them from stopping them. That's the part that's blowing my. That's why the logic part is fucking up my brain. Yeah, they got everything. There's nobody stopping them that can stop them.
Even what's his name? Ogun, that little dude is hard too.
You got
the Inky Taff.
And they worked so hard. They worked so hard in season 2 to get Hajime Industry. So you got fucking what's his name? Smoke Reaper or whatever the fuck his name is. He's also a demon. He's just as much of a demon as Benny Maru, they say. So with that being said, like there's absolutely nobody and anywhere that can fuck with those particular groups of people. Hence why this logic doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I was so upset about episode 1, because from a logic standpoint, it don't make sense. But again, the writing is spectacular. Like, it's no way that it's going to last like this and not have a reasonable explanation.
For those of you watching, Polow is genuinely salty. His arms are crossed.
Yeah. mostly because I'm cold, but yeah, that too.
I feel you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel you, because it is one of those things where I'm like watching it, and I'm just kind of like, man, you laid this groundwork so perfect. Well. What Polow and I often say is the ley lines. You laid those ley lines so well that this just does not follow the story. It doesn't follow the context that you gave us so far. Yeah.
Everything's so well executed.
It doesn't mean I'm going to hate the story, but how are you going to make this converge? And I don't doubt that they will. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel faithful to what we've gotten so far.
That's like Apothecary Diaries going the doctor detective route for one of their episodes. Apothecary Diaries lays it down with hints and drops and tidbits and snippets of stuff that plans in future episodes. Every episode, it turns into something spectacular, and then all of a sudden, it just turns into that MD doctor detective bullshit where it all just come together in this weird, convenient is the perfect word, convenient way of solving itself instead of anybody else doing the actual work. Like, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't feel right. It would feel out of place. And that's what episode 1 did. However, again, episode 2 is better. The Burns thing is still very weird to me, but everything else is fine.
Yeah, it only had a couple of scenes that built off of what that first episode did that was weird, but everything else kind of just, it progressed and pushed us forward. I feel like the captain's gonna get a fire. He's gonna get a power. I don't know if
you don't think he's gonna turn infernal.
No, I don't. I think he's gonna be like a second generation, something like that, third generation. I think he's gonna get a power.
That could be dope. He could turn into like Benny Maru and have both second and third.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because I feel like he's so strong-willed and has always demonstrated himself as so strong-willed that when it happens, it's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not going out like that. And I don't know if it's gonna be like Benny Maru, but I do think he's gonna go crazy. I think he's gonna have like a dope power that is probably gonna be borderline making him what Shinra and the rest of them are. It's like he's gonna be either the final Adola Burst, because we don't have the final one yet, right?
Pillar.
Because we need 8, and I think we just got the 7th in the previous one, right?
7th.
Which one are we at?
5th is Inca. 6 is the little dude. So it's 2 more.
Okay, so yeah, I think he could be one. Based off of his willpower, like, you know what I mean?
You know what I was thinking?
What's that, bro?
For one, I just want to say this intro is the best intro Fire Force has ever had. I know y'all like that other first one better, but this one's like 20 times better. But it's so fucking chilling. It's so lack of a better term to go back to 2010. It's swaggy. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very swaggy. But I digress. I think the 8th one, unironically, is going to be the sister. In some way, shape, or form, because of the intro. Shout out to the intro basically being a fucking spoiler, even though I could be wrong entirely. But I'm thinking the sister is sisters with the chick that's inside the well, I guess her name's Amaterasu.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking because of the intro, because they put them side by side, they're probably sisters. And then something is gonna be some kind of a Dola link that wakes up the sister's fucking latent ability or some shit, and she'll be the 8th, and Obi could be the 7th.
I know they animated this video so that you could watch it, right? I know they animated the intro so you could watch it. Stop watching the intro, Polow.
Bro, the song is so Stop good it. Though.
You be in there like this. Let me take notes on this shit that's happening right here.
I don't. Yep. I just thought about it because I saw that at the very end of that intro. I'm like, huh. That's peculiar.
And I'm thinking about it too. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, fucking Polow. I'm not trying to take the iconography. I'm not trying to take that iconography.
Whoa, a word Till almost couldn't say. That's crazy.
Iconography. I know I don't say it often unless I'm in like my art bag.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to take the iconography and say like, boom, this is what they're trying to get and what they're trying to hit. Obviously they're symbolizing something, but now that you say it, it does hit right on the nose, and it could be super duper dumb fire for Fire Force season 3 to introduce that.
Because you think about it, when was it season 2 or when Amaterasu was inside of Shimmer's head, I was like, is that the sister? They look alike. They look alike. Right. You know what I'm saying? So hey, you know what I'm saying? Such a fire show, pun intended. All right, moving on. I forgot what was next.
Shoshimin.
So, dude, oh my goodness, bro. Go to Shoshimin. Shonen Bump says, "Hi, I'm new here and I had to share some thoughts. I love the Holmes and Moriarty dynamic that the main guy and girl share. He's going to talking about Shoshimin, main character, the guy and the girl. He's always putting together clues to figure out the past while she's putting together plans to set up her future. Bruh, that line, holy shit, blew my fucking mind, because you think about everything that happened in season 1. Everything was her setting up some future diabolical plan while it was him. And I wouldn't necessarily say the past. I guess it would be the past, but also the present, and figuring out what she was setting up for the future. So it's him. And again, this second episode was him sort of kind of piecing it together. But while we were getting her name, Osanai, she was doing whatever the fuck she's doing with the newspaper guy. She's manipulating the fuck out of him. For what? I don't know. I still think she's the one. They kind of show her hinting at the bench too, like she was setting them fires, but I don't know yet. I don't know.
She said exactly why she's manipulating him though. Remember when she mentioned the like chestnut and it being wrapped in the syrup, and then you dip it again in a thicker syrup, and you dip it again in a thicker syrup, and it gets sweeter and sweeter, and it's like a candied, and you're my syrup. Chestnut. Mm-hmm. She's using him as her sweetness, her cover up. People won't notice her if he's there. And I'm not even going to say necessarily notice her, but he is there to be a diversion to what she's doing. And I say that because if he takes the heat for the fire thing, right, which he inevitably will if he keeps searching for them, you know what I mean, and trying to pinpoint it, he'll catch the heat for that, and she goes undiscovered. Now, let's not even say that that's straightforward what she's trying to do. Let's say she's trying to cover up something entirely different, right? Let's say him looking for the fires is, like we said, the fires mean something entirely different that she's trying to pinpoint and lead to a different topic on. He's pointing out the fires when the fires can be a complete diversion, misdirection to another topic that she's trying to cover, another plan that she's making. So, which I can 100% see. We just don't know what it is yet.
This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that there is an arsonist. It's not her.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
I think she is setting up for him to be caught by using him, the sweetness line that you use, by using him to put out to the verse that, hey, this is your guy. Hence why she told him, hey, don't get too far into this. Just put out the thing that you said. And, you know, when she basically told him, like, don't continue to dive deeper or whatever, basically, essentially is what she said. But she's basically hinting at him to take the advice of the newspaper guy and just release how you figure this out. If you release how you figure this out, other people can figure it out, and then you won't have to be involved in any more of that. I.e., but that friend, something about that friend, man, where he keeps like, I think he's like into him. Does that make sense?
Or he could be the one.
Or he could be the one. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like a curiosity thing, or, you know, it could be a love thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I 100% see it. He is a tool, so to speak, for her, a vessel
to help her catch the arsonist.
Right.
And it's probably because that arsonist burnt her bike. Could be.
She's upset. She ain't having it.
Yep. You know how she is about her stuff, so.
Shoshimin, I love this show. I sincerely do. It's a clean show, bro.
It's so clean.
In so many aspects of it.
What do you think about, because they were never a couple. So what do you think about him not denying the fact that he wasn't, like, that's not his ex?
It makes him normal to pose that way.
That makes sense.
And if he says, that's not my ex, well, why were you guys always hanging out? What was the purpose of that?
Yep.
Now he has to come up with either a story, or he has to lie, or he has to tell the truth. And
it'd be more hassle to explain that they weren't than it is to just accept that they are quote unquote broken up.
Right, but if you said that's my ex, exactly, people will accept that a lot easier than saying I'm abnormal. I'm an abnormal person.
Absolutely.
And if I told you exactly what I was, you would be flabbergasted, but she wasn't. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a very valid point. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the creator of Shoshimin. The only other thing he created outside of some other like manga original stories, like shorter original stories, is Hoyoka, which is another fantastic show that I talk about all the time, but that's interesting. You don't really have anything much else. He's good. He's really good. His penmanship is incredible. All right, moving on to last but certainly not least. Can this boy-girl relationship survive? Or friendship survive? So, we talked about this in Discord, and everybody feels the same way. We all know where this is going, extremely predictable. I'm hoping it's not. Okay, but it is leaning towards the fact that he's going to get close to the dark-haired girl. They might even end up in some sort of relationship, and then he realized his feelings for the blue-haired chick, and she realized her feelings for him, and then they end up getting together at the end. End of story. However, like Astel said, he's here for the journey. How is the journey going to go to lead up to the point that's, I feel, and most people feel, is inevitable?
Yep.
So how do you feel about the journey that is taken so far after 2 to get to that inevitability?
So I love the story between you and Rion. Their little story was amazing. I'm like,
it was so adorable.
This is sweet. This is the cutest thing ever. And then the reuniting, and then you hear Himari says it was fate. I was never gonna be able to stop this anyway. Fact, them is bars. They was never gonna be able to stop it. They here now, but then we do kind of have a feeling as to where the story is going to go. Right, what the trajectory looks like. But I do hope that at least, and I say this in the most hear me out kind of manner possible, at least if they get to experience a relationship together and then they don't decide to be together, at least give us a well-rounded, I appreciated everything and ended that way, but Himari is the one for me because she's always supported me, whatever, you know what I mean? I just want it to be something that is heartfelt and well-rounded. But their story was so good, bro. That was the highlight of this episode.
Absolutely. It was so cute, man. It was just like, oh, come on, man. It just made me hate Himari even more because it's like she's just in the way now. She's toxic by playing with his emotions, talking about, you want to kiss right now, and all that bullshit that I can't stand. Like, I can't stand an overzealous, pushy, girl. Like, I just can't. It pisses me off. So, to know how it's going to play out,
we don't know.
We don't know because you think about it. My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, everything hinted at him being with the orange hair chick, and spoilers, he doesn't. So
I didn't think it hinted at that. I think it hinted that she wanted him, but I thought it hinted at him being with the dark hair girl. But okay.
You know, I still think it hinted at it because they were friends for so much longer, even before he, you know what I'm saying, before he started throwing himself out there and then getting, like, she was always there type deal. That was the whole premise. So it could be
for Hamari on this though.
Yeah, we definitely not rooting for Hamari. Like, I can't stand her to be fair. She's not that bad, but you know, I'm being hyperbolic. But after that story, I'm like, I absolutely love her. Emoto or Rion, like, she's just great. And I like the brother too. Himari's brother is funny as hell.
Yeah, he is cool. And that's what makes me feel like no matter what happens, it's gonna go that way, right? Because the family is so in love with bro. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a hard bond to break if they decide to go that opposite route. And I feel like the way they've already established that everyone, that his family, her family, they're all expecting them to be together. Yeah,
because you think about it, like, we're in episode 2 and they're already kind of hinting at romance between Rion and you. Like, there's no way that's gonna last, right? It's obviously going to be a situation to where they even might get together after this second episode, or after they figure out who each other is. But then it's not going to work out in the relationship because Himari's going to be there and his feelings for her and blah, 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 blah. It's atypical, be usual slice of life.
The only thing I can say I love about Himari's role in this, though, is that she falls back. She definitely decided she's going to fall back and let them have their space.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. That.
Yeah. But how long is it going to last when she's like, I love that man?
Tell him.
How long is that going to last?
Mm-hmm. It's going to fuck his head up. Ugh. So disappointed. There's going to be
always the blue hair girls, man. They be tripping.
I know. They're never my favorite. They're never my favorite when I think about it. Unless they're the main character like Vivi, but that's
different. Vivi was a goat.
Yeah, she's incredible. But Tell,
what's happening?
I'm at Polow Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
You follow our social media at Mic Check Waifu on Twitch and at Mic Check Waifu on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and follow on both accounts. And as always, Mic check.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?